Okay, so I'm going to help you out a little bit with stretching a pizza dough. You see, we've got our pizza doughs here. There's a bit of bubbles on them. They're pretty loose and airy at the bottom, as you can see. So this has been about 2 days ferment bulk, and then one after forming and shaving. So we're going to dump this out into a pile of semola. This is basically it's literally just plain semola put out on a table. Literally nothing else. Get them as confidently as you can on top, and you're really going to want to be careful just to sort of do that. There we go. Okay, see? That's it. These are 2 balls, so they're about 200 grams a piece. When I'm working on this specifically, I am going to want to take some care to use my fingers, because there's a lot of air in here that we work to get. So I don't want to lose all that by just kind of crushing them. So we're going to separate them easily. I put some semola on top here. We're going to separate them out nice and gentle. Generally, if you're doing this in a commercial setting, you can be a bit more aggressive. But the thing is that we're not working with that kind of dough. So since it's a home recipe, we're going to be a little bit more gentle with these. Okay, they're separated. I want to get enough semola onto them so that they're nice and covered, so they don't stick anywhere. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this onto the table now, and then we're going to work towards getting a stretched out dough. Now you see me do this with my fingers. This is sort of what we did with the pizza romana at work, but I'm doing it just a bit to kind of get it separated out because I want to flatten it. A lot of people use the roller. I'm not looking for that. So with some confidence, which is a funny thing, because I'm not confident in doing this at the moment, because I've been out of practice because I haven't been at work much. So we're going to take this and we're going to put this onto my knuckles. So we're going to stretch this a little bit. Now, there's a little bit of stretching going on, not much. I don't want to get it too much because we're going to get this onto the table here. And with this, I'm going to be careful not to sort of touch onto the crust here because I want a nice crust. And using my fingers, in a sort of this motion here, down, not ripping, I'm going to push it out a little bit. This is simply to get the dough to stretch out and preserve all that lovely air that I have in there that I worked so hard to getting. Now, it's not going to be perfectly round. I don't do them perfectly round at work, and I don't much care to have them perfectly round at home. So, that being said, that's that. Okay, we have a perfectly round pizza. A not perfectly round pizza, okay? We can get you to show this up here now, okay? So, basically what we're looking at is that. Now from here, we're going to do a little bit in terms of creating the pizza condice in it. So I'm going to get my sauce here that was basically just tomato sauce and salt. Okay, a nice big scoop of this right here. And I'm going to be careful, or I'm going to care to sort of push this out as far as I can into the sides. And we're going to look at that from here. Now, give me a second. I'm going to pause. Sorry, I was looking to get this. I needed this. So, now that I've gone and put all the sauce on here, I'm looking to get all the way to the edge so that, you know, I don't have too much of a crust. I find too many people get a bit scared and they want to really sort of preserve that spacing, but you don't need to as much because that's going to puff up in the oven. And be careful to sort of stay away from the center because everything will puff up on the side and then just drag it all into the middle. That's not ideal. It's not what I want. So, I'm going to start putting, today it's going to be capicolo, a bit of oregano, hot peppers, cherry tomatoes, and some bell peppers, and then we're on some sausage, and then we're going to shred some cheese on top of it later, but that's a question of after the oven. That's not what I'm looking for now. It'll be a cotronese cheese. This is actually homemade capicolo, so I'm not too worried about using most of it up because it's been around for a while. So I'd like to get it done and finished. There we go. So now cherry tomatoes. you hear yelling or banging, that's my upstairs tenants, because they're assholes. And now we're going to do the bell peppers on top. I went with red and red. It's just what I had available to me. It's not not entirely necessary. If you want a better sort of color contrast, you can always do yellow or orange. That's nice. Ideally, all this will start to cook down and get much sweeter as it's in the oven, and that will give a pretty decent flavor, especially because contrasted with how hot I'm going to make it with the hot peppers we grow in our garden, which are calabrese peppers. Okay, so with this, we're going to cut the calabrese pepper on top, which I like in terms of flavor, also in terms of spice. We've had these in our family for 70 plus years, so, you know, special place to get them. They're much better than the ones in the store. And this isn't even a real peel, just for your own information. So it's literally just a cutting board that we put a little bit of flour onto with the already semolad pizza. So this is a bit of olive oil to go on top. It'll help it cook and also gives it a nice flavor. Oh no. Wow, we're losing shit everywhere all the time. Okay, so this is what we've got in terms of a pizza. Not the prettiest, but it will do its job. So we're gonna go here and I'm gonna try and multitask to get this because I don't have a great pizza slide. I'm not terribly skilled with it. That's our stone, but you know, we'll do what we can. So we get to the back and off. Ooh, that was a decent slide. Okay, so we're gonna pause it, come back, and we'll show you the final product. All right, so I need to turn this because it's about halfway through the cook. Now, I do have to do this one-handed, and I understand that this is a bit low-tech because this is such a fucking high-budget cooking show, but there you go. Just turn it so it gets a bit more of an even cook, and then we'll come back to it. All right, so we pulled it out of the oven. We're back. Last thing is we're going to do a little bit of cotronelle de cheese. That's all I had. Pandemic styles cooking. And then we're going to add a little bit of the basil on top, and we're going to wait for this to sort of melt and the other thing to kind of come through. That's it. A little bit of basil to give it a bit of green and a little bit of the pizza napolitana look. Even though this is pretty far from a pizza napolitana, the crust is too crispy, and normally they wouldn't put all this shit on top of it because it's blasphemy to do that kind of stuff with pizza napolitana. So there's your pizza. Came out not too bad. There you go.